You know, I've been covering JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on YouTube for a while, and now that I think about it, I've never taken a chance to talk about my favorite stands and why they're my favorite. I think I've mentioned what my absolute favorite one was in a previous video, but I wanted to take a step back, look at 5 stands that I just love so much, and let you guys know why I love them. Because stands are just a cool ability, and I love seeing how this one concept has branched out in so many different directions. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by my browser of choice, Opera GX. Download Opera GX using the link in the description. Opera GX is the world's first browser dedicated for gamers, anime enthusiasts, and manga readers just like me. Opera GX makes you feel as original as your favorite JoJo stand because it allows you a great level of customization, like themes, colors, and animated wallpapers through the Opera add-ons. The watch never stops with automatic video pop-out to keep viewing even if work or studies need some of your attention. You can muster the power of both Soul King and Zawardo because the GX player instantly connects you to Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music directly from the sidebar. And if you're still on the fence about changing to the superior browser experience, just remember that Opera GX has a quick import tool that gets all of your previous browser history, bookmarks, and cookies instantly set up. Opera GX even has a super slick mobile app that can instantly connect with your computer to continue your browsing experience. So what are you waiting for? Download Opera GX using the link in the description or the pinned comment right now. I've been using Opera GX for years now, and they are one of my favorite sponsors on the channel. Special thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Diver Down. I really don't know what it is about this stand, but I fell in love with it as soon as I first saw it. The design and color choice just work for me, and I really think it does the diver concept better than Zawardo. Its ability is admittedly inconsistent, whether it wants to store potential energy or phase through walls, but either way, it's still a really cool stand. I think I like it a lot because Part 6 stands tend to be a bit more abstract in their executions. Diver Down is a very simplistic stand by comparison, and that's what I really love about it. This single stand is responsible for the funniest panel in all of Stone Ocean, and I was so excited to see him in his fully animated glory when the second batch of Stone Ocean dropped. Killer Queen. Something about the simplistic stands might make it into this list for some reason because, yeah, my brain has some primal urges to just blow things up sometimes, and I've always loved that it activates the explosions by clicking a detonator. If you had this stand on Search and Destroy, you'd always win. There's something oddly satisfying about hearing that click and just seeing someone or something get eviscerated. The design harkens back to Egyptian art, architecture, and fashion. Sheer Heart Attack and Bites the Dust are amazing secondary and tertiary abilities that made watching Part 4 for the first time so suspenseful. But I think what really seals it for me is that for some unexplained, incomprehensible reason, Killer Queen can just open up its abs and store Stray Cat as if it were a mecha pilot. Explosive air bubbles are just so cool, and the fact that this stand never blinks makes it feel like it's staring into my soul. Also, Deadly Queen was like the best JoJo cosplay that has ever existed. No clap. Superfly. This one has been a bit of a meme on the channel for a long time. Now, you might not know this about the Shuck lore, but I once made a video on objectively the strongest stand, and baited everyone into thinking it would be something stupid powerful like a main character stand, and it was not. It was Superfly, which was honestly amazing because damage reflection is such a broken ability, and it uses that as an electrical pyre. If that wasn't ridiculous enough, this was the first immovable location stand that we had ever been introduced to, and it works as a trap. Once inside, if you try to escape, you become the Metal Mario version of yourself, which is so cool. This stand is often compared to Sugar Mountain Spring for how similar their abilities are on a surface level. I personally like the Sugar Mountain Spring arc and framing and themes better, but when it comes to the stand itself, you can't go wrong with Tower of Grey. Soft and Wet. I've always felt that stands with very mechanical designs tend to be some of the cooler ones. Civil War was a stand that stood out this way, but its ability was too situational and confusing for me to really get to like it. Soft and Wet doesn't have that problem though. Everything about this stand screams iconic. You will not find a design like this in anything else. It is a far cry from the big muscly men that stands were back in Stardust Crusaders. This one is just so cool to me, and I really think it comes down to its silhouette. The shape of the torso and its head just looks so different than anything you've really seen before. Something about how smooth and symmetrical it is just appeals to me. And I love the anchor as its centerpiece and how it complements the shape of its head. See, its ability is really cool because as much as Araki likes his arm blades, he certainly loves his bubbles. I imagine this guy had the wildest bubble baths as a kid, because he just keeps writing bubble-based abilities into his stories. And while this stand loses objectively a cooler ability to plunder things like a true sailor, it makes for one of the most foamy seas and duels like a pirate, except instead of a sword, he uses a shovel. Before I get to my favorite, some honorable mentions would be Gold Experience, a stand with a literal perfect design, but an ability that is too broken, busted, and inconsistent for me to call a favorite. Purple Haze because of the novel Purple Haze feedback. Catch the Rainbow for having a stand that actually made me afraid of going out in the rain. And Nut King Call for similar reasons why I like Soft and Wet, but less so. 2022 has been a year where I couldn't be more certain that this is and will forever be my favorite stand. When I was younger, I wanted to become a paleontologist. That is a dream that I finally accomplished this year when I found 5 fossils for the first time at the side of a waterfall in southern United States of America. This was a truly amazing experience, and it really made me feel like I accomplished something. This year in general has been a revitalization in my interest of paleontology with the release of Prehistoric Planet, the spiritual successor to BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs. And on the topic of the Walking With series, I actually had a chance to meet Big Al himself from the special The Ballad of Big Al. I had played those over and over again as a child, and growing up to be almost as tall as Big Al is one of the most wholesome experiences I've ever had. I've always been fascinated with prehistoric life because I think it really puts into perspective how small we are in the grand scheme of things. It's a humbling, extraordinary experience to learn about what the Earth once was and how it changed over millions of years. So you can imagine that my reaction when Araki decided to include a dinosaur stand in the best part of JoJo and give it to the best character. Open the door, get on the floor, Dio is a dinosaur. By taking one of the most iconic characters in the entire series and turning him into a dinosaur, Araki solidified his creative genius. This is an encapsulation of what makes JoJo so bizarre. Just don't think about it. This is awesome, you're gonna enjoy it. Yet 7 parts in, I just accepted it. No, I don't only accept it, I embrace it because this stand touches something very near and dear to my heart. You have this Utahraptor as an homage to vampires with his ability that can only be scientifically classified as Dino AIDS. He even has a hybrid form that looks so freaking amazing. And no, I'm not a scaly, but if I was, well... Needless to say, Diego Brando and his stand, Scary Monsters, go hand in hand as my favorite character and favorite stand. So those were my top 5 favorite stands from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I want to know what are yours down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching and sticking with me through all of these videos. If you have any suggestions for other favorites or least favorites you might be interested in seeing from this channel, let me know. I have a bunch of stuff planned that's sort of typical and atypical for the content of this channel. Like usual, I tend to just do what I want to do, sort of, because this isn't my job, just like making some fun videos for all of you guys to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a beautiful doing, and I'll see you all next time.